the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded April 25th, 2011. Episode 40, The Kit Conniption.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
All right, Chris, you can blame me this morning. I was late.
What? Oh, that's all right. No big deal. We got tons of time around here.
Right.
Tons of time.
Yeah, well, we've got a 5-day weekend here, and yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty
so
of
what was
time.
that holiday you said it is?
It's Anzac Day. It was Anzac Day yesterday.
Day.
The Australian New Zealand Army Corps.
Okay.
Anzac. It's a big, respect. All the diggers we call them. Our soldiers are called diggers. So, yeah. So, yeah, you have to remember them and, the sacrifices in World War One and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's good.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's a big public holiday here and everyone likes it.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah,
Had a nice holiday otherwise?
Yeah, it's good. It's a 5-day weekend here. Awesome. Except for the fact that I completely forgot about this morning. That's why I'm late. I was still in bed when the wife went, "Are you recording the radio show this morning?" I looked at the clock. Oh, shit. It's already 7:30.
Send her a thank you note or something. She's looking out for the show.
Yeah, otherwise I'd still be there, I think.
That's great.
Anyway, we forgot because it wasn't in the usual routine. She's home today. She's probably on the other side of the wall there. And, yep. And it just screws things up when you're not in your regular routine, that's all.
Yeah. No, I feel it. That's good.
What can you do?
Move on, start talking about electronics.
It's an electronics radio show. Why not?
Yeah.
Do we have any shout-outs this week? Yes, we do.
Do we?
Jiggish.
Jiggish. Oh, yeah. Oh, where's that? There we go. Yeah. Jiggish linked here. That's right. So his site is knownfo.com.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. But he linked here, and we always give shout-outs to people who link here. So thanks a lot, Jiggish.
Thank you very much. Is that a nickname or is that a real name?
I believe that's his real name.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I
think
hate
he just
people
started
like
writing.
me with common names and you.
I know, right? Yeah, Dave and Chris.
Yeah.
Boring.
Absolutely. Anyway.
Another shout-out is to Nottinghack in the UK.
Yes, they're going... well, they're not going under, but they've been evicted from their hack space, apparently.
Oh, no.
Something to do with it. Yeah. They've been
How'd you
booted
find out
out
about
somehow.
this?
Not sure what happened, but they're after donations and things to help them set up a new space. So, yes, if you're in the UK and you want to... Well, if you're anywhere and you want to donate, because PayPal's international, by all means, donate to their hack space.
How'd you find out about this happening?
They actually tweeted me asked if I could talk about it on the blog. Well, not really on the blog because the blog's not for that sort of thing, but certainly the Amp Hour radio show is. So here you go.
Events. That's good. Yeah, that's too bad about getting evicted, though.
Yeah, that's
find
a bummer.
It on the site.
But it's exciting because then you can go look for a new space. That's got to be really exciting, I'm sure.
That's true. Yeah, if you go to the front page, they have a big Nottinghack is... What is it called? Nottinghack is in danger.
In danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah. And I think they've got photos of the new space they're trying to buy, I think. Yeah, there's a couple of photos. I'm sure that's their new... And it's just big, huge, empty. Wow.
That's a tough proposition.
It's quite novel for me, I'm sorry.
When you just have, like donations from... I mean, even from outside, but just donations like that, and you're trying to actually buy a space. Rent is bad enough, but when you're trying to buy it, then you really start... getting into some big money numbers.
Are they actually trying to buy it, are they? Is that the...
No, I just kind of took that cue from you. I don't know.
Oh, right. No, sorry. Did I say the word buy? No, I'm sure
you
they're
did
renting.
Say buy.
They wouldn't be out... Yeah, I think it's like $1,000... They have to put up $2,000 bond or something up front.
Yeah. Well, that's still pretty hefty, so...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you only got, a few people, core people doing the donating up front...
right, exactly.
Then, it's a pretty hefty toll.
I would imagine that would be tough for a lot of volunteer organizations, no matter what they are. Like if you had like a volunteer firefighting force, I don't know if they would want to try and go out and find a new space or something like that.
No, exactly. It might be a bit rough, but I don't know. That's why it's good to have your own lab.
Yeah, that does help, but you
Yep.
know, me and Jeff Kaiser were talking about that. It's kind of hard to balance like the shared space. You know, you want to help out with hacker spaces and
Yep.
and donate your time and your gear, but at the same time, it's like then, well, what happens when you need stuff in your house?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's really no. We were talking about it for probably an hour online and just trying to figure out, and there's not a lot of good options there. You know, you either double up your equipment,
Yeah.
or you just bite the bullet and you donate all your equipment, and then you always go there, but then you have to pay dues too.
Yeah,
So-
well, exactly. I thought most people just donated spare gear. I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I think you'd
Yeah.
have to be very keen, or literally live very close by,
yeah.
like within walking distance, for it to be viable for you to go there all the time. Or
Right, right.
the actual. Or the wife booted you out of the study or something like that, and you have to get rid of your gear.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's I don't know. I just assumed everyone donated spare gear because that's what it's like here for the Sydney hack space.
Yeah.
I think I've donated some tables and stuff for them and
Yeah.
things like that. And I
I
thought
guess that
people
makes
just
sense
bought
more
in.
in urban environments too. I mean, I guess I'm in a pretty suburban environment, so I have
Yeah,
a
same.
buttload of space. So that's kind of the difference too. If I was moving to a local or to an urban area, right?
Yeah.
Then I could probably donate all my gear, get a nice tax write-off, and then go use it too, and that'd
Right.
be really good. And that's I think that's what a lot of hacker spaces are built around too, is like urban centers where you don't
Yeah.
have that opportunity.
Exactly. That's why they don't really work in sparsely populated areas here like Sydney. I mean, we've got 4 million people in Sydney, but they're spread
Yeah.
out over a 50-kilometre radius area. It's quite large,
Yeah.
and really people don't live in the city. Like literally right in the heart of
like
the central
downtown,
business,
yeah.
the downtown central business district. It's really it's really just a place of business. So, it's just it's just hard. We're so spread out. Really, everyone's got their 800 square meters of land, and I don't know what that is in feet, or everyone's got their
Actually,
half
it's
an
acres
acre
at that point, yeah.
Well, yeah, acre. Okay, everyone's got their quarter acre lot, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
so it's hard.
It is tough.
But
yeah.
I can imagine in the middle of New York or San Fran or something like that,
Yeah.
very densely sort of populated areas, then these sort of things work.
Yep. Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, Jeff, what about if, what if everybody kind of like had like a key to their workshop, right? And then they had like everybody could come out and access it when they needed to, and then you had like a log of tracking people, and so there's all these distributed shops all over town, and people could just go use them. And,
Yeah.
and he's like, so you mean hacker spaces?
Right.
I mean, because he's right. I was like, oh, damn, that is what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So it's a tough problem, but I think the key is the urban center and having them really
You
strong
need
there.
the populate. Yeah, you need a core group to keep it running. So you've got to have
Yeah.
people who go there all the time. So
Yeah, who
otherwise,
basically live there after work or whatever they're doing.
That's right, because they
Yeah.
don't have their own space. I mean, it's I wouldn't be able to get to the Sydney hackerspace. I would, it's
Right.
just not viable. It's got to be a 45-minute drive easily from
Oh, wow.
here.
Wow.
That's in good traffic. It'd be over an hour to get there if I had to, and
Yeah.
it
That's
just
a lot of
isn't
time.
viable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it was 10 minutes away, it's still a pain in the ass, You got to get in the car. Geez, you have to even get dressed,
Yeah.
And not that I sit in the lab nude or anything, but you've actually got to put shoes on or something, and you've got
Right.
to
No, I
head
know
on
what you
out.
mean.
It's
It's just a transaction cost, right? It's like getting over that hump to get there.
A financial term there. Yes, there is an inherent transaction cost in going to your lab if it's outside of your home, if it's off-site. So
Yeah.
and that'd just be a bummer. Oh, I can't just go out there for 5 minutes and
Yeah.
bum around. So
Yeah. I did
stuff.
I did that the other night. I walked downstairs and I was like, I'm bored. I'm gonna clean up the shop, and I started a Ustream channel.
oh, right, okay, as you do.
I've got the sickness. I've got the sickness now, Dave. I have a Ustream channel just like you,
Awesome.
except no
You
show
don't
to
do
speak
anything
of.
on it, right?
No, well, I just got it yesterday.
Oh, right, okay. Any plans to do a live show?
I don't know. People are asking about us. They keep asking if we're going to do a live show, but...
yeah, bullshit. You get one or two people asking, and then nobody turns up to watch it. Who would want to watch the recording of a radio show? It's just... No, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, it's just us staring at our screens, basically. Me trying
pretty
to...
much. It's, it's pretty
visualize
boring.
how I can make Dave the most upset with what I say.
Right. It's called passionate.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to some stuff, shall we? There's news. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Is there a...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, 5 people have been arrested in a $37 million chip heist. Awesome.
Oh, I didn't
just
see
like
that.
the movies. There's a
just put
chip
that on there?
heist.
Where did that
This
go?
has been on here for a while, dude. Get with the program.
Oh, so it's not news. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, well, it's point number 16 on the list. There you go.
Yeah, I see it.
No, sorry.
12. I see it.
12.
A chip heist. That's crazy.
There's a chip heist down in California somewhere.
Who steals chips?
People who realise how much they're actually worth. They actually, in one heist, they stole $37 million of, was it DRAM or something?
Yeah, I remember
Something
some
like
kind of memory.
Yeah,
Unigen.
they stole some sort of memory that was destined
Flash.
for Apple. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
Flash.
Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were
That's gotta be
$37
weird.
million bucks worth of chips.
That's gotta be... How do you unload that kind... if it's just gonna be... Do you go, sell it to China? Because you're not gonna get as much then.
They sold some of them, and that's how they got caught, of course. Duh.
Yeah, well...
As if that wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
That is
you would
impressive
have to have
that criminals are thinking to go after technology products that are that basic. Not basic, but, more of the raw materials as opposed to buying or stealing, finished cell phones.
And you've got to think, was there some inside knowledge there that they actually had $37 million worth of stock there?
Yeah, that's true.
On site. And, of course, these big companies, I'm sure they wouldn't have even given security a second thought, really. They had $37 million worth of products sitting on the shelves, but I bet you they just had some secretary at the front desk and some guy in the store, and he didn't even have a shotgun under the bench.
Which you don't agree with, of course.
Right. Bloody Americans.
Yeah.
And it's just they probably didn't give a second thought because they, who would steal chips, right? It's just it isn't money. So whereas if you had $37 million, geez, you'd have 20 armed guards there guarding it, right?
Right.
So
yeah, and that's crazy. The crazy thing about that is the fact that they ended up going through these gray market dealers, which are basically what are they called? Not agents, but
yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
They are called agents sometimes.
Yeah. But basically, this stuff that, large companies actually use when they're in a bind. So I guess it wouldn't be too hard to unload it then. Especially since...
No, it wouldn't, but they got caught. And if the cops come around asking all of the grey market, they aren't going to cover for them unless they're their buddy or something. They're going to go, yes, sir, hand over the... Yeah. When the FBI come knocking on the door, they'll hand over who they bought their stuff from. So, and because it's a specific chip, and probably had specific date codes on it, it's probably not hard at all.
It's so weird.
You could change the date codes, you could reprint them and stuff like that. But, you've got to have the actual number on there because that's the whole point. That's why it's worth money, is because it's that particular part number chip. So,
yeah.
It isn't like gold. You can't just melt them down and reuse them.
Yeah. So I melted these down, and now I have sand. Oh, crap.
Maybe some gold bond wire or something.
Yeah, there
like
you
that.
go. Yeah. I have some phosphorus ions in here somewhere.
Anyway, what a bunch of... Well, I give them A for knowing that, for actually pulling off the heist, because that's to knowing it's there and knowing they're worth something, but just for getting caught, dope.
That's an enlightened criminal.
Right.
Stealing technology products. Man, must be getting bad out there.
And it's right in the heart of Silicon Valley somewhere. And they did the full thing, they tied them up and kidnapped them and all sorts of... So they've got them on charges of theft, kidnapping, attempted murder and all sorts of things, I think. So,
yeah. Wow.
Well, anyway, I thought that was funny. Chip heist.
Maybe it'll be a movie someday.
Right. These nerds nerds with pocket protectors and shotguns. Oh, goodness. No.
I will happily play
No,
one of
that's
the characters in that movie remake. It sounds like a made-for-TV movie
Right,
kind of thing.
cameo, you think?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, dear.
Wow.
Anyway, what else have we got?
Uh,
I saw the new, there's a link, we'll link to it, the new
Yeah.
Facebook data center.
oh,
They've
yeah.
just opened it. This is the main data center where Facebook have all their servers. Very, very impressive. And they've got some behind the scenes videos showing, like, taking you on a tour and stuff.
Yeah.
And all they seem to talk about on the video is the power supply system. How do you power all this shit?
Yeah, and how do you cool it, too?
Yeah, how do you cool it? How do you power it? And it's just, so they go into nth detail about the power supplies and the redundant backup power and battery back power supply, which lasts for 90 seconds, by the way, because
That's
these,
crazy.
when you've got a rack of 10,000 servers, there's only
Well,
so
just how much they use, too, like how...
it's phenomenal. They use a massive amount of power for each server, but the battery system lasts 90 seconds, but that's enough to shut them down gracefully. I think he said it shuts down in 47 seconds or something, and it can back everything up, and so they've got sort of twice the leeway there that they need. But,
That's crazy.
yeah, I know, and that's on top of the diesel generator backup. So that's
Right.
like a third line.
Well, thank
back
God
up,
they'd be saving
just-
my Farmville game. Let's make sure we have our priorities in order, people.
Exactly, can't lose any of those cows.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Right.
The world would go to crap if that happened.
Everyone lost their Farmville. I don't know. Is there points? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't play
I've never
that
played.
shit. What a load of garbage.
Yeah, it's impressive, though, just the amount of technology, too, that they... Did
Yeah.
you watch the whole video? I didn't watch the video.
I watched most of it, yeah.
Yeah. What kind of racks, what kind of servers are they using?
Oh, I didn't see that part. I was just interested in the power supply
Oh,
talk.
okay.
I
Okay.
don't even think they mentioned what server.
Oh, no?
Yeah. No. Anyway, all the power supplies are all fully custom designed and built
Yeah.
specifically for that purpose. So,
Man, you want to talk about places you should steal valuable stuff? Facebook data center is where you would do it, right? I mean, you just think about...
Right.
I mean, granted, you have to sift through a lot of crap, but, like, you think about the value of the information in there. I bet they have security guards,
yes, yeah. Even, your regular ISP.
Yeah.
Not your ISP, your host, your actual
Like web hosts?
your those big web hosts.
Yeah.
They're housed in earthquake-proof, fire-proof, guarded 24/7 data
Yeah.
centers.
Well, there's a lot of money tied up in there, especially
Oh, yeah.
sites that are doing commerce. You could that stuff goes down, and
Yep,
wow,
it's a big deal. So
we are well acquainted with crappy hosts
websites
around here.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Nothing
Don't
worse
even-
than a shitty web host. Anyway,
Yep.
let's not go there.
No,
Mine's still holding up under the onslaught of the blog,
that's good. That's good.
which is great.
So I am going to California for the first
You
time.
are.
I am.
You're going on holiday.
Not
First time
holiday.
ever.
It's not holiday. It's work. It's work, man.
It's a holiday, dude.
I know.
And you're now an Element 14 stooge. You've
I am.
sold your soul for a couple of tickets to
Hey.
California.
Hey, I think that was the right move, and I'm excited. I don't know, like Element
Awesome.
14's doing some fun stuff, so I'm going to be doing the roving reporter stuff with Jerry, actually. So me and Jerry
Right.
are going to film some video together, and we're going to try and go around to surplus shops. So, if people have suggestions about where to go, I've been asking about that, because I really have no place. I have no idea where I'm going out there. But
Right.
I don't know. Hoping to see the area and stuff like that.
Well, Jeff has a list of surplus places on his website.
Oh, he does. That's right. And he's
Yes.
actually he's thinking about going out. He's going to be out there. He might stick around for a day, so he
Right.
might be on
Awesome.
camera too. So
Fantastic.
that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Good
Excited
luck.
Thanks, man. And you were supposed to go, but
I was supposed to go, but
Yeah.
no, I had to.
Can't go now.
Had to cancel that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So otherwise I would have been in California next week. It's
that
next
would have
week,
been a
isn't
hell
it?
of a party. Yeah, it's next
Yeah,
week.
I know. Everyone's there except me, I think.
Yeah.
Goodness. Anyway,
Oh.
last time I went to ESC, bloody no one was there. So
Really? Yeah.
Well, I didn't have the blog then, so.
Oh.
But yeah, it was like, I didn't know anyone, and I just
What
didn't
year was
care.
that?
So 2008
Okay.
or 9,
Yeah.
maybe. I'm not sure. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 2008.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been to a couple ESCs now, but this is the big one, so that's the one I'm looking.
Yep.
That's why I'm looking forward to it. And the California thing.
Absolutely.
I feel kind of
It's
stupid
pretty
about
big.
it.
Why?
I work in electronics. I've never been to California. I've never been to Silicon Valley. I've never been to California. You know, like, I don't know. I feel silly telling people that, you know?
Right. Yep. Well, I'm sure most haven't, you know. I mean, there's nothing exciting in California. It's just, there's lots of companies there, but really, apart from that, okay, there's a couple of surplus places, but there are those landmark things, you know. There's a HP. Tell me you are going to the HP garage.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Try? Come on.
There is no try.
There is no try. Do or do not.
Yeah.
It's compulsory.
I'll try. I don't know. I don't know what my schedule is, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's well worth it. It's a house in the suburbs that has a garage, and it's really exciting.
That sounds worth it. It's good advertising,
I
Dave.
went there. I remember I was at ESC, and I went, bugger this, I'm going. And so I grabbed the hire car, and I had no idea about navigation and all that, so I just whacked it in the GPS, and the GPS got me there, no problems at all. And it's this leafy little suburban street just near Stanford Uni there, and there were some garbage bins out the front, so I thought, oh great, I had something to sit my camera on so I can take a photo of myself. And
and I think you posted that on here, haven't you?
Yeah, I've posted the photo before in various places.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
You aren't allowed in. You're not allowed. You're allowed to go. You're allowed onto the property to view the sign, but you're not allowed through the gate. Which leads you to the garage. Yeah, apparently so.
Right.
Yep.
Well, that's okay.
Oh.
I don't know. I'd be more interested in seeing Stanford and all that other stuff out there. I just hear it's a cool area, so I'll be poking around. I'll be reporting on it. So
cool.
If people want to watch that, they can. If not, no big deal.
How many extra days you got off?
3. So I'm going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then flying back Thursday night.
Oh, you've only got 3 days total.
Yeah.
You're not taking any extra time off to have a holiday?
Nope.
I
got stuff to do.
Fail.
Man. Sorry. I'll get back out there. I don't think this is going to be my last California trip.
Just it's only
poking around.
5-hour plane flight or something. 4 hours? How long does it take?
Yeah, about 5 hours from here. Yeah.
Right.
How long is it from there? How about that? That's the real question, right?
It's 14 hours. That's
14
just
hours.
on the plane. That's flight time,
Good
so
Lord.
That doesn't include sitting on the tarmac when the plane's almost, when the plane's delayed, which happens every time.
Wow.
So you waste a couple of hours there, and then you waste a couple of hours in the airport. It's about 20 hours by the time I left my place to when I would get to the hotel would be 20 plus hours. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Which isn't bad. Try going to Europe. It's worse. It can be 30 plus. So yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I have a friend from India who tells me about his travel woes, and it doesn't sound fun at all. 30 plus, yeah.
But yeah, that's basically as far as the planes can fly, 14 hours. Although, no, they're flying further now. I think they're able to squeeze some extra fuel. I mentioned this before. You can now fly directly from Sydney to Dallas. In fact, you can't fly into San Fran anymore, which sucks.
Because of the...
It means I don't want to go back to the US now. I don't want to fly into LA because LA sucks, and I don't want to fly... Well, Dallas maybe, okay, it's somewhere new, but I loved flying into San Fran. It was great.
Yeah, great.
Anyway, they dumped it. I was very disappointed.
That's too bad. I guess
not a problem.
You have to stay in Sydney forever now. Sorry, Dave. Or go to Europe.
Ah, well. Best country in the world.
Yeah, good. I like that nationalism. That's good.
We've got the 555 contest winner, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Was he the ultimate winner?
No. So the ultimate winner was, and if people don't know, me and Jerry did an announcement. We talked about it last week.
Jerry and I,
and Dave corrected me like that last week. Thank you.
I did.
Grammar Master Dave. Jerry and I had the final announcement for the 555 contest, and Dave's video is in there, even though we cut it up wrong. So sorry about that, Dave.
What happened there? That was unbelievable.
Sorry, man. Can't win them all.
Anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I uploaded it straight away.
Yeah. So no, Tom Jenner was the one who won it all. He was the
That's right, he sweeped a
robotics
couple of
and the
categories.
servo controller, and actually on that topic, real quick. So I was talking to him last night. So 555 contest, we hadn't announced what the top prize was, but since he won the MIMS Commons In prize, which is a custom painting, but Tom doesn't know what he wants painted, so if people have suggestions, they can leave it on here. I'm going to post something on the 555 contest site, too. And so the nice thing about that is since he's willing to have anything in it, if we get something that a lot of people like, then we can help the artist out, too, because he'll sell prints, and we can all have this cool print on our wall. So,
Oh, I've got it.
Okay.
The photo of Bob Wildleg given the finger. Paint that.
Yeah. Not
With
really
like a
555
triple
related.
five background, even though he has nothing to do with the 555. But come on,
Oh, yeah. Maybe we can get a picture of Hans doing that. What do you think?
right? Brilliant. Anyway,
Yeah, so we're going to try and get something that a lot of people like so that it helps the artist and we can all have a cool picture on our wall. But, so... Anyways, a different winner, one of the guys that had a utility entry, so that was one of the contest entry, or one of the categories was utility, so the most useful thing that you can make with 555s. He made an etching controller for acid etching PCBs. And so he was wondering, and he wanted me to pass questions along to Dave, but just about, how to move forward with like a kit business or what other kind of stuff, and just kind of things that, like tips that Dave would have.
yep, absolutely. I've been in the kit business for 20 years when I was a boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to get back into it now, which is a good thing if I ever
how's that
find
going?
bloody time. Yeah, it's going all right, but I just need time to work on stuff. All this free time I supposedly have.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, do you have a lot of new design ideas, or is it just a...
Well, no, old ones I've dragged up, really, out of the dregs that are been sitting there for 12 months kind of thing that I've never had time to finish. So, I'm getting back onto those, which is good.
That is good.
Anyway, yes, Jonathan's question really was that he's considering turning it into a pick-based project. He doesn't want to just sell the 555 timer project, right? Because it uses more parts, it's expensive, and and he asks, should I go to something like that? There would be a huge reduction in cost, he says.
Yeah.
If he went with a pick base, then he can add an LCD display and other nicety. And should he do that? Well, yes, of course, absolutely. You're a fool if you stick to the 555 timers. A big thing about the kit business is lowering your BOM costs, your bill of materials costs. That is key, because then that allows you to not only, you don't have to sell it at a competitive price, but if market forces change or a competitor comes along or something like that, if you've got a low bill of materials cost and you're making a large margin, 300-400% margin or something like that. Like if your parts cost $10 and you sell it for $40, then you've got a largish margin there, and you need that sort of margin. But the idea, lowering your BOM cost should be your number one requirement, apart from functionality, of course, of your kit, so that you can, you've got that margin there, and not only, and then to sell it onto the kit suppliers like Adafruit and SparkFun and those sort of places who you may want to find it's too much grind doing it yourself, and it is a pain in the ass kitting stuff yourself and selling them and shipping individual orders, and it's, you do make more money like that. You make more income
raw
per
dollars,
kit, but you work your ass off, so you got to trade up. I think we've talked about this on here before, surely. But that is my recommendation. Yes, go spend 90% of your time trying to get the cost as low as physically possible.
Yeah, that'll pay back in over time.
And that'll pay back big time. Yep.
Yeah. And, the only downside is that, I don't think he was particularly attached to the 555 setup, but that is a rework then. No. So it's more of a, the concept's still there, right? So an etching controller.
Of course, the concept's the only thing that matters.
Right.
Yep.
And
doesn't matter whether you
I think it's a good idea for a concept, to be honest. I think there would be a lot of interest in that kind of thing, but you're not really going to know that until you actually make it and start trying to sell it.
You have to make it and start trying to sell it, yeah. And the other advice, of course, is to do your first run of kits small and base your profit margin based on, you might make 25 kits, say, and make sure you can make your money back with the first 25 kits. So all your one-off PCB costs and things like that, make sure that your profit margin's sufficient. And you really have to make large profit margins on kits, otherwise it's not worth it. Like if you're running a normal business, a good business will be running a 20% profit margin, right? Well, that's not good enough for a kit business. If your kit costs $10 in parts and all your expenses, and you sell it for $12 or even $15 or even $20, you're just not going to make any money out of it. You've got to sell it for $40 or $50, but you've got to sell it for 3 or 4 times what the parts cost is. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You're just wasting your time. If you're just doing it for the fun of it, fine. But if you want to sort of, make it either a viable business or at least make some return on it, you've got to make that big margin there.
Right. And isn't that margin kind of determined by how many you think you're going to sell to? So, like, if you're not going to sell a lot, you need more margin versus if you're selling a crap load, then you can start lowering your margin because you're going to make more money overall.
Well, if you know that you're going to sell a lot, why would you lower your margin? You wouldn't.
Well, maybe you have to in order to sell a lot. That would be the reason.
Maybe you have to. If it's a price-sensitive product, then, if the key to it is its price rather than its functionality, then yes, it's a different ball game, really.
And there's other options now, too. I mean, like, so Dave was talking about that first run. It's true, and that's a good way to do it, I think, but don't forget also that you can do Kickstarter stuff now, too. So that's a way, at least in the U.S., Dave knows that that doesn't work outside the U.S., but...
Doesn't work in Australia, nope.
Right. But you can have, and then you can actually gauge interest up front, which is kind of nice. So you'll get people to pledge, and then based on that tiered level of interest, someone says, I'll give $100, and then for that you get, a T-shirt and the full kit, or an assembled one. Yeah. So that's a nice thing about Kickstarter, is that you get that upfront interest, so you actually get capital to start with.
Yeah, I would only recommend doing that if you absolutely have to.
Really?
If the only way, absolutely.
Why?
If the only way you can do it is if you're flat broke and you do not have the money, and the only way you can do it is to get Kickstarter money up front.
No way. I totally disagree with that.
No.
Why? Tell me why.
I'll tell you why. Because then you are locked in to satisfying people, and that only has that can only have a negative effect. Okay? And then you've got people emailing. If you've got 100 people signed up to this thing and they've all given you your $50 or whatever, they're going to be emailing you every day. Where's my kit? Where's my kit? Where's my kit?
True.
Right? And you can't just say, well, screw you. I'll do it when I'm damn well ready. Okay? And that doesn't... And then then if there's any problems, if you run into any problems, you don't have any contingency time or stuff like that. So it's just... No, I'd highly recommend investing your own money in it, because it's not much. That's why you start off with a small number of kits.
All right,
and
I'll get behind that.
What happens if you take everyone's money and then you invest all that money in these kits and you went, oh shit, I goofed up, right? Well, what do you do? Right,
well, that's when you throw your own money in because you have to.
Yeah, well, then why didn't you put your own money in to start off with?
No,
make a small number of kits, and no, there's only.
So maybe the best thing to do would be
only downside
to prove out that really small, like 5-lot kit at the beginning, and then once you know it works,
and then maybe once you've proven it and everything's fine, and all the kinks are ironed out, then use other people's money to do a full production run or something, perhaps. But then you should have the money, because you've had that money. You should have made a profit from the first run of kits, so you can bootstrap yourself and do more.
Yeah.
So it's that's the traditional method of doing it. Yes, Kickstarter, I just don't recommend doing it unless you there's no other way to do it. Really. There's only downside there. I cannot see an upside to it.
All right.
If you've already got the cash in the bank and you can pay for it, why would you want other people's money?
Right.
It just ties you in. I call it fear on my part, but it just restricts you in what you can do. Screw that.
I mean, some people like that driving force, though. Like if people are banging at your door, you're going to get it done because you have to. I don't know if that's the best reason.
Yeah,
but...
true. But I think if you need that, then, well, you're probably in the wrong business.
That's true,
I think.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that would be my advice.
So speaking of, how about this forum user that wants you to do a design to production video? So we actually there was talk in there about doing Kickstarter, but why don't you explain the story first?
This story is, what's his name? I make sure I get it right.
Takati.
Where is it?
Takati. It's the next one down.
Takati.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure if that's his real name. It's probably just his forum handle. Yeah. But he pledged $1,000 if I would do a series of exactly this, how to take an idea, like a kit kind of thing, how to take an idea from literally an idea, sketched on a napkin through to full-scale production. Either a kit or, anything else, a full product. And he pledged $1,000 for that, which is incredibly
that's a lot of dough.
Generous. Yeah. That's a lot of dough. Well, it sounds like a lot of dough, but it's not. Well, if that just paid for my time to do it. It wouldn't pay for it at all at my contracting rates,
but if you got 10 Takatis, then it would start to add up, right?
And then maybe it'd start to add up. I'd be able to do it. But, and he was calling on other people to pledge and stuff like that. And, well, I don't like that idea either because, once again, it ties me into actually producing stuff. B, I've got to satisfy every single person. And when you're talking about this isn't just a kit that you deliver to them. This is educational material,
Right.
And everyone wants something different. For every video I upload, doesn't matter what it is, I get 10 emails saying, oh, why didn't you include this? Why didn't you include that? And imagine if people paid for it.
Yeah, that's true.
If people put down $1,000 and they were expecting something and I didn't deliver exactly what they wanted or most of what they wanted, I'd be forever chasing my tail, actually refining it and adding stuff it's just, I can't see it working.
Well, here's a question then. How about, would you do design to production videos on your own though?
Oh yeah, I already have.
You've done all the way through?
I've already done parts of them. I took my little microcurrent kit and I explained how I designed it and took it and designed for production and, well, kind of.
Yeah.
I've already had a foray into that area. So.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of those, but I would be interested in that too, just from the all the way through life cycle kind of thing, but it would probably take so long.
I'm sure a lot of people would, but it'd be a very long video. My one just for the microcurrent, which is an incredibly simple thing, and that didn't include all the stuff that this guy wanted. I think that was already 50 minutes long or something, 40, 50 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So it's, once again, he said it should be a series,
Right, no, I would agree with that.
Of videos, yeah. Spread into 10, each actual, spread each process of it into a separate kind of video.
Like concept and prototyping and then
and,
layout.
I might do that, someday, but it's a lot of work.
No doubt.
And satisfying people is next to impossible.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants something how many combinations and permutations of things are there in the design process? It's infinite.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you're not going to tape them all, though. That's the magic of it, is editing all down.
You've got to do an example. You've got to take an example. The only way to do that is, here's an example product. This is the one I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain my design process, my thought process, everything behind it. And I've already done that partially. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, you got tons of time. You got tons of time, Dave.
Right.
Just get on that. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great idea. Thank you, Takaki.
Takati.
But I'm hopeless at pronouncing things.
Yeah.
But it's just not doable. Once you start taking money to produce certain things people want, especially when there's just so many ways to do it, is fraught with danger, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, here's one last question about the designing side of things too, because someone wrote in. I don't remember who it was that wrote in about this. Sorry, it was Adam Ward, I think, actually. But he was talking about what kind of licenses he should do. So if he does start a kit business, or he starts just a design in order to release it, what kind of license should he do for homebrew kind of stuff?
Well, I'm surprised he hasn't heard of the open source hardware license.
I was a little surprised too, but I thought
one.
it was good to bring it up again.
Yeah, I thought that's the whole idea. As far as I know, that's the only one out there, the only license out there that includes hardware-specific things, really. I mean, I've released stuff under GPL before. I've released schematics under GPL and stuff like that.
And that's what he's doing right now,
I don't even know if that's legally, if that's, like, enforceable. I have no idea. Whereas the open source hardware license has been vetted by, smart lawyer geeks to be suitable. So, unless you were a lawyer and you went into the details, I don't know which one's the most appropriate. But the problem with the open source hardware license, as we've said on here before, it is fully open.
That's right. I think that's a good thing, though.
It's a good thing, but there are maybe some reasons why you might want to keep, you might want to open to the world, but you might want to keep the commercial license to it, which then you would go to the Creative Commons licenses, which I've used before as well. And they do have a non-commercial version of their license. So, yes, everyone's free to use it, do whatever you want. Here it is, I give it to the world, but I'm the only one who's allowed to make money from it.
Right.
Which you may have a legitimate reason for doing that. You can argue till the cows come home, oh, it's not a good thing to, it doesn't promote the open source ethos and the... Yada, yada, yada.
That's going to shake itself out eventually too, though, because if a lot of people did that kind of thing, and then it would, like, if projects just die on the table, then so say you release a product under non-commercial, and then it just no one wants to work on it because they can't go and sell it, right? There's no economic benefit then, so that kind of thing just works itself out anyways. Yeah. So the open source hardware is you have to allow commercial reproduction as well, so that is a good thing to keep in mind. But yeah, and there's a logo now.
But I think there may be legitimate reasons why people want to go and use the non-commercial license. Anyway, I've explained this on the blog. Yeah. There's 5 different versions of the Creative Commons license. So just go pick one, pick each one, and pick any one you that deems suitable for your particular thing. Yeah. And we've mentioned this on here before, and I don't think it's really happened yet, but it's ultimately has to happen someday. When you release something under the open source hardware license, and say you made a kit for it, say Jonathan, who wants to release this, his 555, or his kit, under the open source hardware license, right? If he prices that wrong, or doesn't, or can't produce enough kits, or does something else,
or it's just really popular too, right?
Oh well, right, yeah, and or somebody else. There's nothing stopping SparkFun or Adafruit or any other big or even small like me. I could come along, take all his design files, do absolutely nothing, and produce a competing kit at half the price and put him out of business. There's absolutely nothing stopping you for anyone from doing that.
Yep.
And it will ultimately happen eventually. Like if he released this kit and it's $200 or something, and everyone goes, well, that's it should only be worth 20. Then, well, he may not sell any at all because somebody else might come along and go, well, I'm going to sell it for $100.
Right. Or even
puts him out of business.
Even at the beginning, probably people would just take the design files if you opened it up and just go and roll their own, right? That's always another option. They
would roll their own version, and their one is 10 times better than yours because they've done a little tweak which you didn't think of, and then their one becomes the most popular.
Right.
What can you do? I've done this before, actually. Back in, we're talking 93 here, I think. No, 92. 1992, right? Somebody, Glenn Pure, his name is, he designed this kit, this EEPROM burner kit, right? Yeah. He got it published in Electronics Australia magazine, and it wasn't a really good design, it wasn't great, but it kind of, it worked, and it was out there. And his software for it, he was giving away. Well, no, I think he was selling software for it, or he's giving it away actually.
Okay.
And the software, you could buy the kit from Dick Smith or whoever, or JCar or whoever, and but the software was really, very primitive. It was it really was hopeless. And as soon as I got the magazine, I went, it's an okay project. I wouldn't mind building one, but the software sucks. I'll write my own.
Yeah.
So I wrote my own software, and very quickly, and it was, 10 times better than his one, and I sent it into the magazine, and then they reviewed it, and I started to sell it, and mine became the de facto software. So he never sold... he never sold a copy of his software. Everyone bought mine. In fact, there were 3 versions of the software. Somebody else wrote their version as well. And the original designer, Glenn Pure, he actually did a review for the magazine, actually comparing all 3 versions of the software, including his own. And he was quite impartial about the whole thing. It was all nice, and
That's
it was
good.
all good.
Yeah.
But everyone went, well, Dave's one's the best. I'm going to buy that. So 99% of people bought my software. I sold thousands of copies. It became the de facto standard. And sorry, Glenn, but your software wasn't good enough. Mine was better, and mine was more useful to people.
Well, then that kind of refutes the argument that you have, then, Dave, doesn't it? Because
I was just telling a story. I don't know.
No, I know. It does, I think, because then
probably.
If people do non-commercial, then it says that, even if your software's better, you can't go and sell it now, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, true. Okay, yes. Yeah, point taken. So the community got better software.
Right.
Because...
Yeah, that's where the focus is, I think.
Didn't use his source code. I wrote mine completely from scratch.
That's true.
It wasn't,
so it
wasn't built on his work,
Right.
But then you want to know what the downside is? It wasn't all roses.
You had to support it
because Mike, right? Because everyone thought from that day on that it was my project. Right? Everyone thought, because it's my software, I'm the one who did the bloody hardware.
Right.
And I had to, for about 10 years, I had to answer all the support queries
by
for the
mail.
Hardware. Because the hardware was really quite troublesome. There were, a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
And I had to support that. Whereas he pretty much got off scot-free for supporting his own project. But granted, I was making money from the software. So... there's downsides. But yes, you're right. If you release it under the on the non-commercial license, then the community can't build on it. But sometimes, the community doesn't want to build on it.
Sometimes.
So, yeah, of course. Or they'll just go do their own version. Whatever, I don't know. There's so many permutations of that one. You have to weigh up your own situation. But of course, the Adafruits of the world, they'll all come along and say, well, the only solution is to do open source, completely open source, give it to the world. And, I don't necessarily agree. I reckon there's always a reason to do it some other way. So I'm just putting it out there that there are other options.
I think, like I said, I think that'll shake out.
And after all, it's your project. Don't let anyone force you.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. But like I said, it'll shake out economically, I think. I think there's economic benefits to opening it up, too. Long term, who knows?
There can be, but only if you capitalise on them.
Yeah.
You can't just open it and then do nothing and expect money to roll in.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Somebody else will go, oh, well, he hasn't produced a kit. I'll produce. Artistry will go, oh, that's a nice project. I'll produce a kit. They'll sell 100,000 of them and you make zip. So... yeah. Although, I believe if you go to the Adafruit site, they talk about, as a goodwill thing, they give you a commission.
They do, yeah.
If they sell. But really, they don't have to.
Nope.
They
don't have to.
And if they go get bought out by somebody else in 5 years' time, it'll get ruthless. Or anyone can come along and produce a kit.
Yep. Yeah.
And not give you a red cent, because they don't have to. I don't know. It's a risk opening your project. It's up to you. I plan on opening mine, but that's my decision. It's my project. That's what I'm going to do, but you may have other reasons. So, by all means, do what you like. There are many options out there.
So there's more I saw an article today in ECN about IP cases in China being heard. Right. So, that's obviously another big source of strife with like IP and openness and all that kind of stuff, right? Because, like you said, someone could come in and start building kits, and doesn't mean that they're, stateside or Aussie side or anything like that. It could just be a low-cost manufacturer that starts doing that, right?
Yep.
And
absolutely.
So they start talking about how, this year there was 45,000 cases heard in court, and China's cracking down.
Whoop-de-doo. They're bogus numbers.
I don't think they're bogus, but get this, right?
Well, they're just...
I'll link the article in, but they... first off, 45,000 cases. You think about the amount of litigation in the U.S. alone. That's like a drop in the bucket, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They said there's even less cases being heard about foreign entities. So if IBM is, they're not getting in there. These are homeland cases, right? So it's someone from China against someone from China, dealing with rip-offs, versus someone from the U.S. versus someone from China getting this stuff into court. So there's nothing going on there. And then half of these cases are all based on copyright. So it's like piracy and trademarking and all that other crap. Yeah. So the situation continues, although I'm sure there's a lot of, positively spun PR to try and say otherwise, like, oh, yeah, give us your designs.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the world just continues, as it always has. This has absolutely no effect on anything whatsoever.
Nope. And
zip.
I can't stand it when people are like shocked by that. They're like, oh, well, we sent all the production over to China, and for some reason it showed up on a street corner. It's like, well, what do you think's gonna? I mean, like, it's just a cultural thing, right? It's a
cultural thing. Yeah, they don't think there's anything wrong with that,
right? And I'm not judging against it either way. It's just, if you're gonna do that, if you think, oh, I'm gonna save some bucks doing this, sending my production overseas, you gotta know the risks, And I think a lot of people still don't know the risks. They're not even close to cognizant of what's actually happening with all their product and IP and stuff, and it's just happening anyway. So,
yep.
Good luck.
The same thing can happen with your open source hardware kit.
But I think there's less money in that. There's a lot more money to be made off.
Of course, but no, I'm talking about in terms of somebody can come along and rip off not rip it off because you're giving it away. They can do whatever they want, but they will have no problems with not giving you a commission.
Yeah, that's true.
If they sell exactly the same kit, I mean, the whole idea. I think I may be corrected on this, but this is the gist I get. The whole concept of open source hardware, you give it away, here it is to the world, you're giving it to the world, and if you sell a kit, the idea is that, well, you don't muscle in on somebody else's kit. If you want to produce a better version, modify it, and do that, then that's fine. Yeah. Nobody will, including the original person, should complain. But if they just directly take your files and make no changes, give nothing back to the community, and just put you out of business, then that's frowned upon. So even though it's completely legal,
is that the community is going to frown upon that? Then I think that's what the idea is.
The community frowns upon it, and then they won't buy from that person. That's the whole idea. But if their kit's half the price, it's it's hard. Because people aren't made of money. They can't. Yeah. They can only support you so much. I don't know.
I don't know either. Time will tell, man. Time will tell.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the whole idea. That's the whole ethos behind it, is that if you're going to take somebody else's files and make money from it, at least contribute something back.
Yeah.
In terms of,
definitely.
That's the whole idea.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. And I would be a bit miffed if I went to all the effort to kit up on my latest kit and somebody came along and just stole not stole them, but took my files, produced exactly the same kit, gave nothing back. I'm doing all the support for the project and everything else, and they're just making money off the kit without giving me a cut. I'd be a bit miffed, even though I know it's perfectly legal.
Yeah, I would be.
So, yeah.
I think that's human nature.
Yeah. So, and the only thing you can... like the Arduino, classic example. You can't use the word Arduino because it's trademarked.
Right.
So you can take the exact same files, produce the exact same board, but you're not allowed to call it the Arduino.
Right.
You have to call it something else. So, yeah. So you can protect your design that way. Mm-hmm. So you can claim that, Arduino aren't even, which is the showcase example of open source hardware, right? Even they aren't playing by the rule. They're protecting their market by trademarking the name. I don't blame them, but, you can say that's probably against the ethos too. I don't know.
I agree with that. I think what they're doing is okay.
I think what they're doing is fine too, but other people, more hardcore people who believe that, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. TI. Let's talk about TI.
Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Okay, about 5 minutes left. So I saw this actually.
Yeah, go on. It's your story.
Through Suzanne Dufree, who's from EDN. She posted this. But there's a new trend kind of emerging, and it's not just TI that's doing this. There's a lot of companies that are doing that for social media, where they call it, in the article, they call it deputizing.
I'm sorry, I've got to laugh.
I know, it sounds like, get the sheriff, let's deputize the whole town.
And it gets better, folks. They're deputizing all their employees. Their goal is to deputize all the... Oh, sorry, I'm telling you a story, but...
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I can't help myself. They're deputizing all their employees. So deputizing, first wank word, they're deputizing everyone to be social media conversation agents.
Oh, yeah. That's got the quotes around it. Yeah.
Wank word of the week. Conversation. Give me a
tough.
break.
It's interesting, as a generational study, because, people in, Generation Y, which is kind of the generation I'm in, we're, really strongly brand aware, and, we care about what we associate ourselves with, right? And that's aside from the whole engineering, dude side of things, too, where, people really...
Dude?
Yeah, dude thing. I think it's a male trait. Maybe not exclusively male, but to associate yourself, to define yourself by your work, right? That's another thing. Not saying that's just exclusively male. I think that's a more male than female trait, though. And so, those two things added together, people want to say, oh, well, I'm from TI. You should love TI parts because I work there, and I really want to tell you about these parts. So from that side of things, it really makes sense, I think. But, deputizing, I don't know. I would had to have a hard time if I badmouthed a TI part and someone just came and said, "Oh, well, have you seen this spec though?" and blah 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 blah. If someone comes and says that to me and I'm like, "Who the heck are you?" and they say, "Oh, well, I just work at TI." It's like, "Are you a deputy of TI?"
Like that has some credibility if they walk around with a big deputy badge on at a trade show.
That would be okay. That'd be great. Yeah.
Right. Great. Oh my God. Yeah. I'd mock them until the cows come home.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good idea in theory, but I don't know. I don't think I would really.
No, I don't
feel like I could trust them.
No, I don't think it's a good idea because, well, they are taking volunteers. I think it's a voluntary thing at the moment. Yeah. But and that's okay because then you'll typically only get the passionate ones who probably would hang out on the forums anyway. Yeah. Right? And that's fine. They're the ones you need. Yeah. But when you try and train up every employee and force them all to, you must spend 10% of your time answering tweets,
Right. Or if you have a handbook, right? If you have a handbook that says, if this, then this, or if this, then that. Right. That's when it starts to be like, well, really? It's okay to say, well, we don't care if you talk about the company because we know you'll say good things. We trust you as people. But if you're actually going out and training your employees about what to say, you're just turning them into little PR people.
Yeah, it's wrong.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, granted, it could backfire.
You've just got to let the passionate people do that.
I mean, I don't know. Would you have done that you probably would have done that for Altium when you were there, but you didn't because...
Yeah, I've done it on the stands and and the forums and various other places, and you do it because you're passionate about the product.
Yeah, and you know about it, and you want to tell people about the cool things that are contained within it.
Yeah, but then you've got to be honest as well. Well, me, right? I'll always tell it
just
like
try and stop him.
Somebody comes up to me, exactly. They come up to me on the trade show stand, and they go, Altium's overpriced. And I go, yeah, it is. I know. But
I'll pay for it, so ha ha ha.
And, why don't you do this? And why don't, And I go, well, something else might be better for you. Yeah. But here's what our product can do. Yeah. Kind of thing. And, you've got to be honest and... Yeah, and you go, well, yes, the circuit simulator's shit. Yes, I agree. I don't use it myself. You can't go, but the circuit simulator's fantastic when it's not. Yeah. I
interviewed for a job at a big place like this a while back too, a couple years ago, and I asked that. I was like, well, what if there's other products that are better? Can I talk about those? And they said no. Right. Your job is to
I know. Of course they will.
Advance the company. It's like, well, all right, well then that's disingenuous. At that point, it's like, well, what are you really doing? You're just spinning it positively to try and sell more stuff.
You're a marketing drone. That's what you are.
And
so
that's
you're no longer an engineer.
Right.
So, and really, they need engineers. You can't have like the company secretary going out and answering tweets. It's you've got to have because they're typically engineering. They're technical questions, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a very specific field.
Right.
And the last thing you want to do is appear stupid too. Like, give a stupid technical answer or an attempted answer to what is a technical question.
Yeah.
And a lot of marketing people won't even realize it's a technical question or how deeply technical it is and how deeply technical the answer that they want.
Yeah.
Whereas an engineer would know that. So,
yeah,
it isn't always obvious. This person asks this question, and a marketing person goes, "I think I know the answer," but a technical person would know that what they really were asking is this, and this is the answer that they really want, not some bullshit marketing answer.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
I hope we see follow up on it. I don't know if we will, but I think we'll start seeing more companies do this. I mean, like I've seen some companies start to do this kind of thing, and I'm sure it's kind of an idea that's out there floating amongst management conferences and marketing conferences and whatever, and it'll produce some hilarious results. I'm sure too.
I'm sure
someone will accidentally email some lists all of the plans for a new product or something.
Right? Yeah, I know.
And
it's
then
bound
someone will go steal all those chips, right? And then they'll get caught.
Right.
And then we get to laugh about it on here.
Awesome.
It works out
well.
well.
Your TI, but
yeah.
No. Ultimately, in the end, it's going to come down to just a few passionate people who want to do it anyway. And those people are going to... the thing is, every company is going to have employees who are going to want to do this sort of stuff because they're passionate about it and, well, they're techies and that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
They want to be on the forums answering shit. You've just got to let them do it.
Right.
You've got to trust them to do it. That's it.
Yep.
End of story.
That's the key.
You don't need to train them. You don't need to train up the whole company.
No,
just the whole company's not going to do it.
Just give them permission, and then the rest is going to be autonomy is going to be the best piece there. So, and the only thing you should really tell them is if you don't know an answer, don't make up an answer. Tell them you'll get back to them, and then that's like the only thing you need to train people to say. Otherwise, let me go find someone that knows this.
Don't slap them over the wrist if they say something they probably should have. Let it slide.
Yeah,
you're going to generate more problems by slapping them on the wrist or pulling their post out of a forum or something like that than you are by just letting it go.
Yep.
Yeah,
totally.
The world's not going to end, really. Do the amp hour's ended, though.
It has. So people should tweet us, leave comments, send us suggestions.
They should.
Send us... What did they send us this week? What did they send you? They sent something.
Did they?
I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah,
no? Somebody sent me something?
comments, and whatever else. We'll happily take any of it, and we appreciate you listening this week.
We do.
Next week, I'll be at ESC. I'll be recording from there, probably from a hotel room. So
from the hotel room.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. See you next week.
Will Jerry join us?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
Right. Oh, then we could spread rumor about you and Jerry in a hotel room together.
Oh, boy.
Hey.
All right. That's getting cut out. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have fun next week at ESC, you bastard.
All right.
I'm not going to be there.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
See you guys.